And speaking of startups, you began your career in working at startups, and you credit a lot of your career growth and your success from your experience at startups, and now working at a much larger tech company like Lyft. I'm assuming, are reaping some of the benefits of the time you spent at startups. Can you tell us more about what kind of skills or why you might recommend maybe even people that are maybe graduating from school to work at startups? Like, what are the benefits of being there versus like a larger, let's say, more established, more mature tech company?
Sure. Yeah. I think the biggest piece is that at a startup, especially in early stage one, like 10, 20 people or like less than 50 people, there's so much exposure you have to the problems of the business. And it's very clear the part I was talking about earlier, where you need to understand what your team does and how that fits into the organization and how that fits into the goals of the business. It is super clear to you. Every single thing you do, it is very clear why this is important for the success of the startup and for it to like continue to grow and scale. And you think in those terms, like you go into discussions with your C-suite folks, with the founders, and you get their perspective and you learn a lot from seeing them up close, thinking through things, tackling problems, prioritizing the right things for the company. Seeing that sausage being made is so valuable, and you really build that muscle yourself. When I started going into big tech, it's very easy to fall into this trap of, oh, you're just like a cog in this big machine and you often don't even know where you fit. But kind of working at it from kind of the big picture first down into your priorities perspective, that really, you're forced to do that at a startup, right? There's a lot of times where you are kind of in the room where decisions are being made, your opinions matter. Even if you feel that imposter syndrome and you're not able to express yourself, which I definitely had early in my career, just listening to people think through how they discuss it, how they weigh different options teaches you a lot. And then you eventually build the confidence to like add your perspective and like influence decisions. And when you bring that into a bigger company, you constantly like orient the people around you, yourself towards this like big picture and what's being achieved. And I think that experience is valuable. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are things you learn at a big company that you're very unlikely to learn at startups. Like, big organization means that there's a lot of overhead in terms of like collaboration. So you really learn how to be very effective at working with other people that you don't have prior relationships with. So these are the kinds of like skills. All the other skills, just the technical maturity, right? You learn like personally, I found myself learning a lot more in terms of, your hardcore tech skills, like more at a bigger company than at a startup, just because the startup, you're just trying to get something done. Whereas at a big company, there is more of a long-term lens usually. So then you learn really about like your like hardcore technical concepts, distributed systems, how to maintain, how to operate, and all of these concepts. So I highly recommend like early career diversity in terms of working at different company sizes and like learning the best parts of each of them.
If you enjoyed this clip, make sure you watch the entire video, which has a lot more content just like this. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of our episodes where we talk to leaders in the tech industry, from software engineers to product managers to engineering manager, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and also click the notification bell.